live. Welcome, Whitney.
Welcome, Pamorn.
No, that's too official. Let's do it again.
Just be natural.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
All right, we're back
We're back.
from Queensland.
Yes.
So we're here today just to share your experience and talk about a little bit about your overall journey thus far. And obviously now that the fight's all over, I want to talk about the experience coming back from having a baby, which is a pretty big thing for a lady.
Yep.
I know this firsthand from watching the birth, which I was like in awe. I was like, just like, what the fuck? It shows women are a lot stronger than men, that's for sure.
What was that? One more time for the people at the back.
We couldn't do it. Yeah. But yeah, then getting back into the ring after all this time, you've gone through historically 2 knee recons, childbirth, and you're still at it. So how do you feel?
Yeah, good. So got back late last night, straight back to work the next day. So pretty tired. But yeah, happy. I felt it was so we went there for a course the week before, so Thursday, Friday, we had 2 full day courses. Pamorn went back to Perth because 2 of our pro boxers had a fight, and then he came back 2 days later. And then we kind of spent the week in Surfers Paradise before getting ready for the fight. So it was like a long week and a half of travel away from home. I definitely felt where I would have been like in the gym at Perth, going through like that final week of training with the team, and not having like that routine away from the gym kind of threw me off a bit, but like obviously it didn't change the decision. But I think, yeah, you take those little things for granted, being around your team, having your normal coaches. You know, I was really lucky to hit pads with Richie from Urban Muay Thai, and he's like a legend of the sport, but it's not your normal pad holder. And I think so close to a fight, those little things just add up a bit.
Okay, cool. So tell us about the lead up to this fight, and you know, how is it different? Because usually you leave on the plane on the Wednesday or Thursday, is it?
Yes. So your training's traditionally done. You start tapering off on fight week. So it's generally like a little bit of an easier week, but you're not eating as much as you normally would. So it's harder in a way. And then, you know, you call it a day on the training, you get to where you're fighting, and then you kind of relax. And then if you need to cut weight, you cut weight. But this time we were there during peak week, which is like the hardest week of training. And I had the 2 full day courses, which is like mentally exhausting. So training like before and after those big days, where we could just kind of like making do, like hotel gyms, little pads. Like the gym was probably like 8x8.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's shit.
Yeah. Every time we'd kick, we'd be like, oh, we're going to hit the window or the treadmill.
All in all, the traveling the week of versus traveling the week before, as a fighter, what do you prefer and why?
Probably on the week.
Oh, the week off?
Yeah, the week of the fight.
Good learning experience for next time. Okay, cool. And tell us like the journey thus far. How long have you been in preparation for this bout? I know you talked about it in that documentary episode you did. How long has it been, and how do you find it?
Yeah, so last fight 2019 December or late November. Obviously fell pregnant in April 2020. From then probably didn't spar for over a year. So just to not spar, like I had to think about this last night, because essentially I felt that I could have pulled the trigger a bit more in the fight. I was like, man, I've got to be like kind to myself, because I actually didn't spar for over a year in that prep. And then when you're coming off being pregnant, it's like real slow and steady. You can't just like go back into like fight mode.
I wouldn't know what that's like, but
yeah.
I'm sure.
Like I remember you were holding pads for me when I first came back, and you're like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, bro, I just want a right kick. Like I'm not there yet, and you were expecting me to be further along than my body would give. Yeah. What would you say?
Oh yeah, seeing the development from when you first came back, and just kind of like, I remember you were like, oh, I can only do so much of my pelvic floor, and guys don't know what the fuck that's all about. So you got to be like patient and take it slowly, and then, you know, like just doing a couple of kicks, and then the work you've done with Tommaso in the gym, you know, 2-3 times a week, and then coming back to see the speed change and the tempo change, and going from like, you know, 30-second rounds to be able to last 3 minutes is a big difference. So it's good, I guess. Yeah. I guess the question I wanted to ask you, and the reason why I wanted to share this is because like a lot of inspo there for other women that, you know, potentially have got kids, and like, yes, you are a gym owner and you're part of being in the environment all the time, but if you were to, you could probably stay home and be a mum. Like, why? What made you want to do this again? Why?
Yeah. So in the doco, I said it's like, I think when you become a mum or a parent, it's like super easy just to lose yourself through that whole process, and there's so much mum guilt, and I really got that for the last few weeks of my prep. Like, there's always something to do as a parent,
and like
and an adult as well. But like, it's easy just to say, hey, like, I'm going to do that when the time's right. But I felt, especially at my age, if I didn't do it now, it was probably never going to get done. And a big thing for me is like sending the right message to Björn. It's like, if you want something in life, you just have to just go for it. There's never like that right time, right place, right opportunity. You just kind of have to make it work.
Grab life by the balls.
Yeah, it's a bit cliche, but pretty much.
I love that, because let's just let's rewind to a couple of days out from the fight. Let's talk about some of the mishaps that you were, like, obviously I'm going back, sharing my personal experience, but I want to tell it from Whitney's eyes. What were some of the setbacks that you kind of
Which one?
went through? Go through the list and tell the people watching about some of the shit you went through. And basically, when you said to me, everything just seems like it's not for me. So tell us some of the things you went through.
Which one?
What was it? The first one was the sauna breaking, and then.
Oh yeah, so when we booked the accommodation, I was like, we just got to make sure that we have a sauna, and then we get there and it was working, and then the next day it broke. And then so yeah, getting ready to cut, we went to. I always do hot yoga. That's just my thing. So went to hot yoga, found the hot yoga studio, and that's usually like 40 degrees. It was like stone cold yoga.
In Bikram, 40 degrees.
I did not sweat like a drop in that class. I was like, Pamorn, warm the bath up. Let's go. Like, I'd need to get some weight off me tonight.
And then what happened?
Get in the bath and the hot water was all done.
There was no hot water left because
So I was like, boil the kettle.
We just bathed the little baby and myself, and there was no hot water left. So
Yeah.
you're around running kettles of water into the bath to get up to 38, 40 degrees. And yes, and then you kind of...
And every time the kettle would reboil, the temperature had already dropped.
Yeah,
So.
that was fucked. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
No. I just remember Whitney having a bit of a mental breakdown. She said, I just feel like nothing's happening for me. This is not right. I said, Whit, sorry to say this, but it never happens for you. You've just got to just make it happen and just do the best with what we got and get through this, because we've done it many times before. We've done it. We've been here. We're used to this. You just got to just push through. And sure enough, you did and got the result, which was great. But sometimes it goes to show shit happens. Great. So talk us through the warm up of the fight, because obviously for me, as a coach and as a husband, it's very different as opposed to going through the mind of the fighter. It's like walking down a very lonely alleyway, very deep and dark. Talk us through it. Get into the venue, right up into getting into the ring.
No, I thought the venue was really good. The promotion was really good, like super organised. Warm up was good. So we had fight number 2. Richard was number 6. So Sarah just scraped a loss. I honestly don't know how she lost. I thought it was 2-1. So when your teammates come in the back room, sometimes that can, like, coming off a loss is a little bit daunting. Richard absolutely smoked his opponent, did really, really well. And I knew I had to get warming up from there. I hate warming up too early, cooling down, warming up, cooling down. I hate that. So as soon as Richard came back, I knew like the team was ready to go. There wasn't anyone else to kind of focus on. We moved to another room because I just wasn't settling in that open space where we were.
Yeah, it was a little bit cold, and then you had the opponents peeping their head around, looking at you, having a joke and having a laugh. But for you, it's business. It's time to work, right?
So then we got nice and warm, went out, waited for a while. Actually, like, I've been way more nervous for other fights, which is cool. I like being nice and relaxed, but nervous. Like, it's about finding that balance. The ropes were really hard, so getting over was Like every small girl knows this. Like as soon as you go over the ropes and you're like, fuck, am I going to stack it?
It's like those
every second girl's stacking it.
like those viral videos when you fall face first into the fucking ring. You're just like, please don't let that happen.
Yeah. And I just forgot about like doing my Y crew because I hadn't done it for so long. So I was like, no, I won't do it. Didn't practice it or anything like that. Really nice ring though. Loved definitely felt the rust of being out for a while. Like I knew I could have executed more and done more, but again, like just focusing on like it has been such a long time, and I think that was her like fifth or sixth fight for the year. So to come in and fight someone that's like really active, you get more and more confident in the ring every time you're there. You just got to focus on like what you did and not get too hard on yourself.
And talking about ring rust, what do you feel like were some of the things that you felt were a little bit off or a little bit not, smooth, or like having 5-6 fights this year?
Well, I think, so when you come back being unfit, you often like counter too much because you're like, oh, I've got to save my gas. But when you're fit, you just go. Like you can be the first to go, counter their counters and go from there instead of playing that like safe game, the unfit game.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Talk us through the fight. Now, from your memory, it's obviously very different from when you watch it back, and I'm sure we'll be able to do that one day and do your own personal fight review. But, talk about play-by-play. What did you feel you did really well?
Body kicks, walk good. My push kicks in round 3 got my range there. I'd say the clinch was pretty even. I don't know. I really just like forget about it after.
Yeah, it's hard to think about it. If there's one thing, if you could go back and do it again, what were some things that you feel like you could have done better?
Yeah, definitely push forward more.
A bit more aggression, a bit more pressure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
For those watching, you noticed when it came to self-analysis, Whitney wasn't too sure there because she's on to the next target, and to the next goal, which is always something that you really love doing. Don't think too much being in the past. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's just talk about a couple of the funny little quirks in the fight. So, or leading up to the fight and around the fight. So, walking out, your walkout song. Tell us about that. Why? What was it? And just so that people can.
The Wiggles propeller.
Yeah, the Wiggles do the propeller.
Yeah.
And why did you choose that song?
Oh. I just felt like because Björn loves it and it's not too serious. Like everyone, it's like it's crazy intense songs.
Yeah, I was about to say everyone walks out to rap songs like "Take Your Head Off."
Yeah.
Like "Mum's Spaghetti," "Vomit on Your Sweater," all that.
I just felt like I had to keep it cool.
Well, to be honest, walking out, it was actually really like relaxed, funny vibe because everyone in the room kind of relaxed. Before that, it was really uptight.
Yeah.
Because when your opponent walked out, and it was like boo, boo, and then Whitney walks out to do the propeller, and everyone's laughing, and even people on the stream watching some of the Insta stories were like clapping and cheering, which I thought was great. And just breaking the stereotype of being a tough guy and just having fun with it, I guess as well. And then at the end of the fight, you asked me to take a sock out of your tit, out of your bra, and I said, "What?" in the middle of the ring, and I didn't want your tit to pop out. But what was with that? I know why, but tell the people watching. Share that.
I actually cried laughing. Yes, I put one of Björn's Superman socks in my boot.
I think it was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
She's actually crying there. Probably from.
Oh, that's so funny.
Laughing.
Just for fun. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, just for fun. Like, because Björn couldn't be there, and that was a part of him.
Like a bit of a good luck charm.
Yeah.
And it paid off. Now you're three from three in Queensland when you fight there. You're unbeaten there, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
One thing that I've myself competing interstate always felt like you were the underdog. Whether myself or other people, you've completely smashed that stereotype and that belief.
Not in Melbourne.
You got that. Yeah, Melbourne's Melbourne, but. What do you feel, just for other fighters out there that probably feel the same way I used to feel, was like, how do you change that and sway that in your favour? Or what are some of the things that you do differently?
I just don't even think about it, to be honest. Like, for me, if anything, it's getting away from the business, getting away from, my normal life, so I can actually just be free to think about the fight. So it gives me a bit of space.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the moment you make it to be like this big promotion away from home in a new state is when you let it get in.
You build insurmountable pressure against yourself,
Yeah.
essentially.
So if you think about like the Wiggles song, The Sock, for me, and that's just through like experience, it's like if I make it into something really relaxed, quite fun, that's when I perform well. If someone's like, you got to do this, it's a big show, this is the stage, then I just become less of who I am and what I'm capable of. But some people respond really well to that. Like I know that we have fighters in the gym, and when you get back to the corner and you're like giving them the hard talk, that works perfectly for them. They want that pressure, where I just want to be me.
Yeah, everyone's different. I've made the mistake of having the one size fits all approach as well. Like big stage, you know, we're over here, you got to beat them up, and it doesn't always work for everyone. And you're right, being cool, calm, and collected, and you know, not pressured and not high intensity is always a good way to be naturally yourself and perform at your best, which is great. Now, what's next for Whitney Tuna?
I've got a lot of washing to do. There's no food in the cupboard. Honestly, yeah, I have not thought about it. So yeah, got home at like 2 from the fight, trying to get to sleep. Obviously, you just never sleep after a fight. The next day, Björn's up at 5:45, so I'm at the beach with him, digging sand. Get on the plane, pack down the Airbnb. Björn vomited all over us all on the plane. Back to work. I haven't even had time to decompress and think, you know, if I want to go again, if I want to call it a day. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
So back to mum life temporarily and being a boss.
No, I think that's a permanent gig.
Yeah, true. But, you know. Yeah, and quickly, just before you go, like, tell us about your experience through the eyes of Whitney, watching your teammates, Sarah Qua. I know you mentioned a little bit before, but like, you know, how was it watching them before your fight, and then obviously watching Richard go out there and kick the legs off the poor Queenslander? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, so obviously I've been training with Sarah, well not obviously, no one knows it, been training with Sarah since that day dot. And it's really hard because she's probably the one in the team that is the smallest, 46 to 48 kilos.
Ring and wet.
Yeah, like absolutely tiny, like eats whatever she wants and stays under 50.
Lucky girl.
Every one of her opponents in comparison to a lot of our others have been like at a super high level. So I think her record is just no reflection of her ability. And then obviously just the way that every fight is scored can be like a little bit biased to a, you know, more hands or more aggressive versus like the more counter style or something like that.
Subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective. So I think it just didn't pay off for her on Saturday. And you know, when you see people put their heart and soul into preps and then they're out the back crying, you're like, oh man, like we've all been there. It's like actually fucked. So I don't want to see her disappointed or sad because, you know, like to me that was a win in my eyes, and so many people said that. Obviously Chapper, he's like a huge silent achiever. Like that was his best fight today.
100%. I was over the moon with how badly.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
He's incredibly strong.
I swear the other guy would be needing Panadol the next day because if that was me. Oof.
And I think like a little bit of anger came out because Sarah lost.
I still just want to share, like, said, like, you know, you're going over there, you've got to beat them. You can't just leave it to the judges. You know, you've got to go out there and really give it your all, and that's what you really do.
But sometimes it's hard. Like, just depends on the style of the fight. Yeah, because you know, you can really push on with a technical fighter, and they're going to use that against you.
It's true. It just goes to show the firepower and the will, the grit paid off. And lastly, obviously there was a lot of great people behind us as a team getting us to Queensland this time. We did things like our GoFundMe, we had our trivia night, we had our great campaigns run, and essentially without those people we wouldn't have been able to get us there. What would you like to say to those people watching?
Oh man, there's like too many people to even thank. I would definitely say this is like the biggest community pull in to just get these fights on the scoreboard. So yeah, had the trivia night, which was like 80 people.
Thanks, Georgia. That was amazing.
Thanks, Georgia. 80 people who bought tickets. Heaps of our members donated prizes. We did raffles, raised heaps of money for the flights and stuff like that. Then we had our GoFundMe, which was awesome. But like also like on the side note, I thought MTL was like the best show that
Absolutely.
I've fought on like every detail. It was
Presentation,
incredible.
Professionalism, everything just was top notch.
They
I'd
just-
say 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Amazing.
picking us up, dropping us off, like little things. The way in they had like the hydrolyte after the food in the microwave. They had a DJ. Like they actually just really care about the fighters, and I think that's because they're both. Well, Benji's retired, but Nikki is back to it now. Yeah, so huge hats off to them.
Yeah, thank you, Muay Thai League, Nakia and Benji, right over in Queensland, and obviously our team, all of our coaches, our team, our staff, including our great office manager Helen, and then Georgia organising the fundraiser as well. That was amazing, and yeah, just thank you to everyone at the Champion Gym community for making this opportunity possible. Like I said before, sitting around waiting for opportunity doesn't always happen. You've got to go out there and really make it, and I felt like we really did that this time. So, anything you want to say lastly to the camera?
No, I'm good.
All good? God, you've got to kind of close
No,
off
that's
something.
it.
A lady of very few words, but I hope everyone enjoyed this little bit of insight post-fight. It is Monday after the fight, after all the flights, and we're back here in the office, and yeah, really happy to have you sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for having me on your host show.